everyone, welcome to the Friday show. My name's Jirard, the Completionist, and today, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is out. Everyone's got their Switches, or maybe you don't because yours got canceled in the pre-orders. Now, that's a funny story because I don't know if you guys knew this, but I pre-ordered 5 Switches. That's right, I bought 5 of them. Now, when I say I bought 5, I don't mean that I bought 5 outright away. I mean that I individually tried to purchase 5 different times a Switch. Now, I got a Switch from Nintendo, hashtag free product, free ad, as well as Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and the Amiibo attached, hashtag free product, free ad. Free ad? No, hashtag free product, hashtag ad. So I luckily didn't have to worry about getting a Switch, but in this office, we have multiple people who have Switches, who want to get a Switch, and I want to make sure that all of my team and staff get a Switch. So I've been working hard to secure a Switch not only for just me, but for everyone, including my girlfriend. And with that said, Breath of the Wild is here! It is here, and everyone's been loving it and playing it, at least for the past, I don't know, 4 to 12 hours it's been out now, but, at least whenever this video airs. So I wanted to share my thoughts about Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and why there isn't a completionist video on it as of today at the launch of the game. So a couple of things, and I'm going to be talking about this in the week after as well. One, I wanted to take my time with Breath of the Wild. The way that I complete games, I don't get to take my time. I'm very focused on getting the game one and done and moving on before the release date, around the release date, on the release date, and I wanted to give myself enough room to just experiment across the board to make sure that I get everything in the game. The second thing is I want to actually enjoy the game. What does this mean? Well, the way that I'm in a pressure cooker of things for the show, I don't get to enjoy games normally like everyone else does. Everyone has to deal with their own things of living life or just not having a life and just playing games all the time. And I wish I had that lifestyle like I used to, but I don't. I'm too busy playing games because I'm playing games, if that makes sense. So, with that said, the Legend of Zelda Completionist Breath of the Wild video is coming out sometime in April. My goal is to get that game completely squared away by April. So I'm giving myself a month. And I'm hopefully that there'll be enough time for you guys at home to play it or at least get familiar with it. But I also wanted to talk about my first impressions with the game because I have put in, at this point, about 45 hours into the game. And now that the embargo is lifted, I can talk a little bit more in depth. If you guys saw the co-optional podcast earlier this week, if not, I think it comes out today or next week. But I kind of tiptoed around the embargo and the kind of things around that. And so today, the embargo's out, the game is up, everyone's watching it. Flip it up. The embargo's up, the game is out, everyone's watching and playing it. And I wanted to give my thoughts. So let's start with the controls of this game. For the first time ever, Link can jump natively by pressing a button. That, to me, was super weird at first. I was very, very weirded out when I first started playing the game because I would run off cliffs and just like go straight off and not jump. It was weird, but I realized there's a jump button, and when that happened, not only could I jump, but I can climb things, and that's what the stamina meter really is for. The stamina meter was introduced in Skyward Sword, and everyone more or less hated it, but in this environment, it works. In Breath of the Wild, it works very, very, very well. So out the gate, there's a couple things I did notice right away. One, you can't name Link. That's okay. I feel like everyone already names Link as it is. And 2, there's voice acting. Pretty neat stuff out the gate. I think to really pull you in, you know, you have Zelda kind of encouraging you to wake up and start your journey, which is really, really cool. The world is massive. Massive, massive, massive. This is weird for me because, one, I hate games like Skyrim. I hate games like GTA. I know everyone's going to hate me for having these opinions, and I guess I should say hate is a strong word because I don't hate any video games except it's like a really bad one. But the level design in Skyrim and GTA isn't bad. It's just not for me. I understand that the quality and the commitment to it is very, very good, and that's why people love it. But with Breath of the Wild, I really love the atmosphere. I love the way it looks. I love the way it feels. I love the way you can run up to things, just climb it. I love the paraglider. The paraglider's sick. You can just climb. This game to me is Legend of Zelda Parkour Dreams. You can just run up to anything that resembles a mountain or a pillar or a building and just climb it. And then when you get to the top of it, you can go, you know what? I'm gonna fucking jump off this thing and float for a long time. And that seems so weird to be happy about, but it gets really, really cool as you advance. And as you grow Link, and that's kind of weird saying grow, but he really does grow in this game. Usually in Legend of Zelda, heart pieces are a thing you collect, right? You get 4 heart pieces, and you get a new heart, and you can start your journey. In the time that I've put in, I have not found a single heart piece. What I have found is shrines. So there are shrines all over the world of Hyrule. It is considered Hyrule. It is Hyrule. The world of Hyrule, the land of Hyrule, Hyrule area. These shrines are tied to the original Link from many, many years ago and the goddesses of the world. And these shrines are puzzles. And these puzzles are complicated or easy. Or they're a battle. Or they're a mechanic that you didn't know existed or maybe haven't learned yet. But the coolest thing about the shrines is when you start the game, you're required to solve the first 4 shrines. When you solve the first 4 shrines, you get access to these abilities. These abilities are manipulation of time, placing bombs, whether they be circular or square, manipulation of a magnet, which is really rad to pick things up, throw it around, and the ability to create frost pillars from water. You can erupt these cool pillars to then use as platforms. And what's really rad is that every shrine that you go to are going to be solved with these things, with these elements from the plate, from the tablet. They will all help you get you what you need to do. And that's really fascinating because that means that you don't have to do them in any order. And that's freaking rad. You can just climb up a tower, activate the tower so you get the lay of the land on your map. You look around, oh, there is a red building right there. I'm going to mark it. I'm going to mark that one. 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 And now you have 5 waypoints on your map to then go and visit. And these shrines are all different. None of them are really the same unless they're a battle one. But every mechanic is fresh and new. You walk in there and it's like, great, blow up this wall. But this wall has something in the way. And now you have to figure out a way to remove that thing to get out of the way so then you can bomb the wall. There's a teeter-totter going up and down. And I had to hit a ball to get out of the way. I didn't know how to hit it and I was freaking out about it. And then I realized that when you are in the air jumping up, you can pull out your bow and shoot. And when you do that, it slows down time. Now, the game naturally teaches you that mechanic at some point, but in my playthrough of the game thus far, I haven't really learned any of the tutorials because I have just gone beyond that. I have just said, here's the plot, I'm going to put it over here, and all the fun stuff is just going to be right here, and I'm going to do all the stuff on the outside, and then when I'm done, put the plot right back into play. And that's what I've done. It's been an incredible experience so far. I've been having a blast. When you solve a shrine, you are given 4 of these shrine orbs. And these shrine orbs you can then take and pray to the goddesses. And when you pray to them, goddesses, and when you pray to them, you have the ability to either expand your hearts by 1 heart or to expand your stamina meter by about 30%. Probably more like 20% actually. But those are your options. And so it's up to you to decide, do you want to really go in on buffing your health a lot, or do you want to just keep expanding your stamina? So this world is vast. You can do whatever the hell you want. You can go out of order, you can go in order, you can do side quests, you can do the main quest, you can do whatever you'd like. And I think that is the most appealing thing about it, is that there is no right or wrong way to play Breath of the Wild. And that to me makes me so happy. It opens up the conversation for anyone who hasn't played Zelda in years to get back into it. And that, my friends, is very, very exciting. I will say, though, that this is where the game gets a bit difficult. This is, in fact, maybe one of the most difficult Zelda games of all time. I'd say it's like the Dark Souls-ish rendition of Zelda we get, even though people say Dark Souls is Zelda, Zelda is Dark Souls, blah, blah, blah. An argument for a different day, for a different person. But I will say, they're not wrong. There are enemies that will one-hit kill you early on. Because you can go anywhere you'd like, because you can climb mountains that are freezing or plains that are covered in volcanic ash, you're going to be monsters and enemies that, for lack of a better word, are too badass for you. And so you have to really go out and get those shrines and buff your boy to get on that level of these monsters. And then comes the question of, how do you fight them? Because really, how are you going to be able to tackle these monsters when you just have a few hearts and some stamina? Equipment is going to break a lot. You're going to be getting shields, swords, bows, axes, brooms, hoes for creating vegetables and stuff, or for farming. You're going to get a bunch of different weapons that are both very effective and very useless. It's all fun, it's all great, but all of it breaks all the time. And so you're going to constantly be micromanaging the way that you carry yourself. And this is where my first gripe comes into play. My biggest and first gripe with Breath of the Wild. And hopefully there is more to it. Like maybe there's a way to upgrade this, but I do not like the fact that you can only carry so many shields and weapons. Early on in the game, I found myself wanting to collect everything. You want to collect everything and then hoard it for the future so that if stuff breaks, you're well equipped. And maybe that's the whole charm to the game, you know, being prepared for anything and learning to micromanage for things that you want to. But I really wanted to have the option of, oh, I'm going to have all these weapons so that I can handle anything that comes my way. So I'm not concerned about this broadsword or this axe or this shield breaking. And that's kind of the thing you're going to be doing inherently. You're going to be constantly breaking items. You're going to constantly be finding items. And those to me, that to me is like the biggest flaw to me so far, is that unless, and maybe I don't know, it seems like that's an appropriate response because I don't know yet, there is a way to expand how many bows, shields, and weapons you can carry, because there is no limit to ore, fruits, vegetables, animal pieces. Like, you can carry as much as that as you'd like, but weapons, shields, and swords, or swords, bows, and shields, you have a limit. And that to me is kind of weird. Hopefully, I will discover the part in which that is not going to be an issue. I think that you'll understand where I'm coming from in saying that. I will say, though, the coolest thing about the game in regards to the plot and the environment is the Guardians. There are these massive monster, like, not monsters, they're like corrupted beings that were meant to protect the world, and now they're like working on behalf of Ganon, and they're evil. They're evil. They're hard to kill. They're really tough. But you do get weapons called Guardian Arrows, or Ancient Arrows, rather. Ancient Arrows. And what they do is that they're designed to kill these guys specifically, so you can use them and take them out, and they do a lot of damage. Makes it really easy, but easier, I should say, not really easy. But I love the character designs of the Guardians. Now that I'm just pointing at these, the amiibo. The amiibo function in Breath of the Wild is very, very plentiful, and not just for these ones, but every Legend of Zelda amiibo up to this point works, which includes all the Smash Bros. Amiibo, the 30th anniversary amiibo, and these amiibo. So there are, I think, and obviously the Twilight Princess HD amiibo. There are so many amiibos that are in this game, and all of them do almost the exact same thing. You know, with and then you have some couple of weird ones, right? Like you put 8-Bit Link on there from the 30th anniversary, and I think he spawns a bunch of barrels, and the barrels have rupees and items and such. And as you get down the line, you start to get really interesting ones. One of the amiibo spawns crates you can pick up and move around if you want to make a ladder. Every day when I log into Breath of the Wild, I literally use all of them, and I get all new gear in terms of weapons and shields and bows. I get rupees. The big thing for me is fruit and vegetables and meat. because you need to cook a lot in this game, and they all just come flying in, and that's really rad. I know that people are indifferent about amiibo, but they're very, very useful, and it's very rewarding if you're a Zelda fan who's been collecting for this long, because you're going to have so many amiibo at your disposal. My second gripe with Breath of the Wild is one that people might scold me for, but it's one that definitely frustrated me over and over and over again. And it's that in some of the shrines, you have to put the plate into a device that then lets you control the layout of the dungeon, and you can do any kind of crazy fun thing. It's almost like the game in which you when you were kids, you have the marble and you drop it in, and you have to try and navigate it through all the holes, and you kind of tilt it. I forget what that's called. I'm so dumb, but you know what I'm talking about. There's a motion aspect control to that. You have to use the controller to do this. Now, you can use the Pro controller, which is great, and the way I recommend playing anything on the Switch, because it's awesome. You can use the Joy-Cons, which are still just equally good. You can even pick up the whole unit itself and use that in tandem. But there's something off about these motion controls. Every time I had a moment in which I had to tilt something or turn something or do it upside down or whatever, it never quite worked as properly as I wanted it to, and that drove me up the wall, because you're sitting there going, man, I just want to get through this and not worry about it, and instead you sit there pulling your hair out because you can't figure it out, and you think you're crazy, but really I think it is the controls. But every time the element was introduced, I was immediately turned off by it. And I think it kind of reminded me of the kind of way that we saw what the Wii U was. Obviously, it's a game developed for both Switch and Wii U, but there's a certain element to it. There's a certain sense of this is what motion control gaming is. And I kind of wish that you had the ability to turn that off. Now, there is, in the option menu, you can turn off motion controls for aiming the bow, which I loved, because I was not ready to sit there with a controller and motion it out. When I play Zelda, I don't want motion controls. That's why I didn't really care for the Wii version that much, because it kind of forced that, and Skyward Sword really enforced that. But I will say, if you like motion controls, if you're a fan of Splatoon, the motion control aspect with the bow and arrow is actually not that bad. If I probably gave it some time, I'd get used to it, but I just don't see myself in liking that play style. And that's my third gripe. The biggest thing with Breath of the Wild that I wish that we kind of saw from the beginning was the ability to map the controller any way that you'd see fit. I think this is something that Nintendo hasn't quite done yet. They've offered options in the past for certain games, but I think they need to go deeper. I want the ability to map out each controller the way that I want to see fit. I think that they've done a great job giving different options. You know, they've given you the Joy-Cons, they give you the Pro controller, they give you the pad with the Pro control or with the Pro Joy-Cons. Those are all great ways of playing it differently, on the go, on the fly, whatever you'd like. But I think it's important in the games that are coming out on the Switch, unless something like ARMS or Splatoon where it's designed a specific way, I think you need to be able to say, hey, players, no matter what your handicap situation is or how you play games or anything like that, map the buttons the way that you'd like. I want X to be attack. I want Y to be run. I want B to be jump. I want A to be roll or item or whatever it is. I think that we should be able to customize the control any way we see fit. And that's something that I feel some games have done more recently. Just options. You know, Street Fighter it up. I want to be able to say anything does anything that I want it to do. I know it seems like a minor one and a dumb complaint, but that's something that I wish we'd have with this Breath of the Wild. So I think I talked a lot today about Breath of the Wild, about a lot of intricacies, a lot of dumb things, and I know it's going on a long time, and I'm starting to lose my voice, but I hope you're all enjoying the game. These are just my basic impressions. This is why I don't do these videos, because as you can tell, when I write the Completionist, it gets more specific and very short, and it moves on. So you'll hear a lot of these thoughts again in a more organized, cohesive manner in the next month when my Completionist review of Breath of the Wild comes out on the Nintendo Switch. So, guys, have a great weekend. Merry Switch Miss or whatever. I don't enjoy your time with the Switch. Have a great time. I'll see you guys on Monday for the Monday show, whatever that may be. You guys have a great weekend. I love your faces. I gotta work on my own phrase for the end of these. Bye!